in the editors and were even published. So it's very obvious that AI was used, and the authors were copying and pasting. So to avoid that, there has been a lot of development of AI tools for research, and we've already been using a lot of these tools. For example, machine learning. Um, I've seen machine learning used in a lot of papers, a lot of them that have been published in integrative zoology, where a computer is trained, like for example, on images. And there's one study on tigers, and the researchers were able to identify individual tigers based on the tiger striping pattern that would be recognized by AI that was trained on lots of different photographs. You can also use machine learning for counting bacteria on a petri dish, or insects that are stuck to a trap, where you can recognize each individual unit, and then it can just scan it and give you the answer. So that's been used a lot as well. But it's only until recently that AI, this generative AI, has really become very widespread. So AI has been used for a lot of papers that have been published in economics and finance, where there's a lot of data, historical data, and then you can train the computer on all these variables, and the computer can make actually very good predictions about economics and finance, and it's really one of the first fields where AI has been used a lot as a research tool, and actually doing part of the research itself. So but then back to the researchers and everyone in this webinar. You can use AI actually to help you do a literature search, and you can. There's a couple tools I'll introduce to you that can help with your literature search, and this can save substantial time and resources. Some of the scientific publishers have developed their own tools as well. I'll just give one example. Scopus has a research summary tool where it'll you can input your given topic, and then the AI will find all the most recent and what it thinks is the most relevant papers in your field, and it creates a research summary with links to every paper. So it not only provides a summary, but also provides a bibliography where it got its resources from. The second reason for using AI for research, it helps to improve quality. So this helps researchers identify patterns, and it would you can enable the researchers to make new discoveries that would have been difficult to achieve previously. So here's where AI can be very exhaustive in the literature search, and it can find all the resources and even make a summary or identify patterns and provide like a mental map. It can actually make graphics as well, like a concept map, and you can look at different areas of research, and it helps researchers helps them to identify patterns that you would not be able to discover otherwise. And finally, AI can be used around the globe. So you can use it no matter where you are, and the integration of AI into research enables scientists from all over the world to access and use these AI-powered tools, and this basically can level the playing field in research because we all have the same tools at our fingertips. So here's how you can use AI for research. So, and there's 6 categories here. The first one is AI tools for writing, and I'll introduce you to PaperPal, which is a great tool that's been developed by exclusively for Editage. And this can help revolutionize research by giving you very powerful tools, not only for writing, but also for your literature review. So that's another big category. And I'll introduce that to you as well. And then there's other AI tools. There's some for note taking. There's some for helping you to plan your day, plan activities. So this can help increase your productivity. There's AI for paper reading. For people on the go, they can actually have papers read to them, just like a podcast. So you can get papers on the go. And then there's AI for research presentations and helping you put together your graphics, infographics, PowerPoint slides. You may have noticed that when you're putting together a PowerPoint slide nowadays, you get suggestions, a slide suggester based on the information you want to present on each slide. So all of these are becoming integrated into our daily life and our workflow. And just to stay ahead of things, I would urge you to learn about what these tools are and start practicing using them. And they can really enhance your research productivity and enhance your research. So here are some AI tools for researchers. Here are those 6 categories I gave on the previous slide. So the actual paper writing can be enhanced, and PaperPal is one of the best tools that are out there, and I would highly recommend signing up for PaperPal. It's free in the beginning, the trial version, and then you can help test it out for your paper writing and manuscript writing. Then there's AI and literature review, and Editage offers our discovery. This is a very powerful tool that can search tens of thousands of journals at once and help you identify papers. It also can help you identify new papers. You can sign up for our discovery in various categories. And anytime there's even a new paper published in your topic of choice, you'll get notified about it. So you can helps you stay on top of all the literature. I'm going to switch to my laser pointer. There's AI tools for note taking, so Otter, Pocket, Scrivener, Google Keep, Notion, and AudioPen, and these are very nice tools to help you take notes and put together all these ideas getting from the literature review. Then there's research productivity enhancing tools. So there's Before Sunset AI, SciSpace Copilot, Avian, Agreed to, Tomato Timer, and Viola. And these, they're kind of like planning tools, and a lot of researchers will find these useful. And then there's 6 examples of AI for paper reading. So Scholarly, Better Research, Dante AI, Scribe AI, Saga AI, and Speechify. And these will help you to understand papers better. You can read papers to you. You can consume your papers on the go, just like a podcast. And then there's a whole suite of research presentation enhancing AI tools. And the one I've had experience with is Miro. This is actually a great teaching tool, and it helps put together research presentations and graphics. for your presentations and also for your research papers. And then there's Mind the Graph. This is one that's offered by Editage, and this is a fantastic tool for creating graphics for your research papers and also for your presentations as well. So a lot of great tools that are out there. Let's you know, get more into the tools for paper writing. I'm going to spend some time on PaperPal and introduce this this tool to you. And one of the great things about PaperPal is that this AI tool has been trained on scientific papers. So if you're using ChatGPT, ChatGPT has been trained on a wide variety of, uh, of publicly available information. And while it's a good writing tool, it can really generate a lot of inaccurate text. So researchers should read and verify that the accuracy of all the text. Yeah, but in PaperPal, this has been trained on scientific papers, almost exclusively on scientific papers. And you can use it when you have a draft already together. It can offer you real-time suggestions for making your writing more smooth and coherent. Has a paraphraser, can help you rephrase some confusing sentences or long sentences. So this is a great tool you can use. It's not generative AI. So a lot of the journals, they want to know if you've used generative AI in your writing. But if you're using PaperPal and also like Grammarly, I've seen a lot of scientific journals. They say that, well, this doesn't count as generative AI. So these can be used, um, and you don't have to worry about disclosing its use to journal editors. So yeah, Grammarly is also another very nice tool that you can use. And then there's some other ones as well. So TextBlaze, Monica, CMJ, and Writear. And these are just a few of the some examples of the many tools that are out there. Now, getting on to literature review, these are very powerful tools, and I think because a lot of the papers now are published as open access. So this is out there. It's not behind any paywall, and these tools are very good at looking at all the publicly available information. Even if the paper's behind a paywall, the abstract and the title, will be indexed in, like, for example, PubMed. So basically, every scientific paper that's ever been published is available, at least in its abstract form. And these tools can help you with your literature search, and our discovery is offered by Editage, and this will help you find specific papers for specific topics. So and it comes in a very easily digestible format. You can even get it as an app on your phone. You can download it as an app and start using it. And it's a wonderful tool, and I would highly encourage trying it out. And then there's other tools as well, and there's even a journal finder that help you with your journal selection for where you want to submit your paper. A couple of these, like for example, LipMaps, this is already integrated with some reference managers as well. So if you have like EndNote or Zotero, not only it can help you find your papers, but can help you categorize them, and then you can input the paper into your reference managing tool. So here's some more detailed information on specific tools for note taking. Otter, you can just speak and record your research idea, and then this program will transcribe what you were saying into words on your computer or your phone. And then there's Pocket. This helps to organize and capture and organize interesting articles and research papers from the web, and allows you to access them later. You know, gone will be the days where you just download PDFs and just put them into your folders on your computer. You know, this will actually help you to organize the literature according to topic. And I won't get into every single tool here, but I just wanted to touch on a couple of them. Here are AI tools for research productivity. Yeah, I mentioned that, you know, some of these are like day planners. You know, there's you know, sunset before sunset AI. This helps you stay organized and focused during the day. You can plan your schedule, whether it's like doing literature reviews or setting aside time for writing. And then yeah, there's other tools as well that can help you you know, schedule time for working and also schedule break time as well. So, and some of these have interactive tools with, for example, Chat GPT as well. Sci-Space Copilot, this is a Chrome extension. So if you use Chrome as a browser, this can offer you real-time answers to articles, and this can actually help simplify your research process as well. So not only some of these are like schedulers, some of them will help you in your search tools. So one's even integrated with AI Chrome. And then for paper reading, there's some really really nice tools here. You know, there's some have Chat GPT that have been integrated onto every single website that you visit. You know, they can help you draft email responses and interact with your files on your computer. And you know, some of these like Dante AI is another popular one, and this can help you extract answers from very large files. So help you search, you know, a very large research paper, and you can, you know, get the main summary from not only one research paper but several research papers. Yeah, so this can help you with basically consuming and understanding all the literature that you've downloaded, you know, all the PDF files. And finally, here's some AI tools for research presentations. I had mentioned Miro before. You know, this is a very nice graphical program to help you organize your research ideas and with your brainstorming. And then there's some other tools as well that can help you with your research presentations. And then Editage, they have a offering called Mind the Graph. And this is a tool that you can use to draw figures for your research papers and presentations. And this contains more than 75,000 scientific illustrations in more than 80 fields. So this is a great general tool, and you know, for teachers and also for researchers. So the platform is so easy to use; just about anybody can use it, and you can create some nice graphics with it. Okay, before we get into PaperPal, we have a poll here. Have you ever used PaperPal before? Vasundra, can we have the poll? Can you start the poll? Okay, I don't know if we can just do a show of hands. I don't see the poll appearing here, so we'll just move on to the next slide. Okay, just to introduce Paper Pal to you, and this has been integrated into Microsoft Word. There's also an interface online where you can take excerpts of your paper, and you can improve the writing in your paper, and at the level of the sentence or even a paragraph. Um, so it suggests um, uh, more scientifically sounding sentences, and you can also help with paraphrasing as well. Some of the tools that journals use to screen your papers, one of them is iAuthenticate, and some journals will actually send back papers that have been flagged for having too much text overlap. And um, yeah, I think plagiarism is too strong of a word to use. Basically, these tools that the journals use to screen the papers, will identify uh, a certain percentage of text overlap. Some of the top journals will not allow more than 15% text overlap, but most journals, 20 to 25% text overlap with previously published papers or internet sources is still okay before you run into copyright infringements. So PaperPal can also be used to help paraphrase sentences that have been flagged as text overlap. So you can download PaperPal. You can, there's a free trial version of it that you can use, and you can just test it out and don't be afraid to use it. So PaperPal has been trained exclusively on scientific papers, and uh, it helps to improve and assess the quality of the writing as per the academic writing standards, basically the standards that scientific journals want to see. So if you look on the right side of your screen here, there's a sample sentence here, and it's underlined. Well, there's the subject, vaccine, and then multiple genotypes existence. Well, that doesn't really make sense. So they rephrased it as existence of multiple genotypes. And yeah, so these little tiny edits that they can do throughout the paper, it gives you different suggestions. It may give you multiple suggestions to improve the clarity and the readability. It also functions as a spell checker. So it can identify some very simple, like subject-verb disagreements that you have in the text, or incorrect articles or missing articles. Basically everything that Grammarly can do, this tool can also do. So it detects basic writing errors with 100% accuracy. So, and for example, all these small mistakes, I would call them the silly little mistakes, in punctuation, article use, verb subject disagreements, and sentence structure. Another really cool feature of PaperPal is the help in the language translation. So PaperPal can be used to translate papers into English from more than 25 languages. So it just takes a couple minutes to register, and it's so easy to use. Even novices can use this. So here's an example. The there's a sentence here in Japanese and is translated to English. So so not only can help to translate scientific papers to English, but I think if you write in your native language, PaperPal can also help translate it to English as well. I mentioned that AI tools can be used for you know, for literature review, but here we're looking at the level of a manuscript. So PaperPal can also be used to check your entire manuscript before you submit it to a scientific journal. So if you have a complete manuscript already prepared, not only you can look at it sentence by sentence, paragraph by paragraph, to help prepare, perfect it for submission for a scientific journal, but it can also provide you, full language checks and also show you the track changes suggestions, so you can see everything. And you can accept or reject all the changes as you go through the paper. Keep in mind, it's just an AI tool. The scientific researcher has to check each sentence for accuracy, because sometimes it can generate text that is inaccurate, or it tries to paraphrase something and you lose accuracy. So always check what is being suggested to you. So yeah, here's an example of a paper being checked. It'll check all the metadata, your disclosures like conflicts of interest, then it'll give you accurate counts on words, your abstract and the title length and manuscript length, the use of like some brand names and everything else that is in the scientific paper. Help check your references as well. Make sure there's nothing missing. That all the in-text citations are in the references, and everything in the reference section is written as in-text citations. And then finally, this is probably the most useful part, is it checks all the language. So grammar, mechanics, style, and readability. And then PaperPal can also be used in your writing. So I mentioned how paraphrasing can be important. For example, if you have too much text overlap on your paper, you can use the paraphraser to help you. You can change the voice from passive to active, and vice versa, when you're describing previous research. So there's ways to just say the same thing, but just a little bit differently. And this will give you lots of options for paraphrasing. It can also give you a more refined version of your original sentence, and it can actually add some variety. It avoids redundancies, and it can add variety to your text while keeping your academic tone. And finally, trimming the text. Sometimes you're asked to reduce the word count of your paper. So here, PaperPal can help you trim down the text. And I've seen some papers, actually, you can reduce the word count almost by half without affecting the meaning of what is being communicated in the paper. So if you are over the word limit, PaperPal can automatically trim the text for you without affecting the meaning or tone of your paper. And usually, you can trim up to 30% of the text, on most papers, without affecting the overall message of the paper. Okay, so that's just a little introduction to the PaperPal. You can download a trial version of it for free and then start using it. And here's a second poll. Have you used ChatGPT in the research process? I had given some examples of this in the beginning of my talk, how like in economics and finance that can be used as the actual research tool, and not just a writing tool. So this is just a question you can just ask yourself. Have you used it in your research process? Um, unless you are uh, information technologist or in economics and finance, maybe the answer is no. But I think with the rapid development of all these tools, these tools will be available no matter what field of science that you're in. So I think the answer is going to be yes for almost everyone in this webinar, given another year. And have you used ChatGPT for any of these? Literature review, summaries, language check, generating outlines. Actually, it's really good for generating outlines if you wanted to use it for a research proposal or a grant proposal. It's really great at generating a nice, I would say, a skeleton of your grant proposal and make sure you don't miss any big categories. But as far as the text that it does generate, it's really up to the authors to ensure the accuracy for ChatGPT. So I wanted to caution everyone with the use of ChatGPT. It's now been built into a lot of our browsers. A lot of our, even using a cell phone, ChatGPT is becoming integrated with just about everything that we are using nowadays. It's actually hard to avoid it. And I hear my daughter, she just woke up. So ChatGPT, there's a lack of fact checking with ChatGPT. So basically, ChatGPT is really great at generating coherent text. It makes sense, it reads really well, but is the information accurate or not? That's up to the researchers. So occasionally ChatGPT will produce incorrect or outdated information. So it may not keep up with the literature. All the papers it's been trained on have been, I think, before 2021. So I think the last 3 years of literature has not been included in training ChatGPT. So it may give you outdated information. There may be some bias in its responses because it's learned only on the data it's been trained on. So it may be missing some of the more recent literature. And there's also a lack of transparency. It's really difficult to see, it's a complex neural network. It's difficult to trace the reasoning or the programming and the sources behind the information that it provides. So this limits transparency and reproducibility of research conducted using ChatGPT. So these are some limitations, and there's a lot of work being done now to improve these resources, so there is less bias. Again, there's a limited contextual understanding. The ChatGPT, while it can generate coherent responses, it cannot always fully understand the context or the nuances of complex research topics. It may give responses that sound plausible, but may not accurately capture the depth and complexity of the research material of the subject matter. So the researcher has to carefully evaluate and verify the information. So be very careful there. And I see it all the time. It generates very inaccurate text, but it does sound very good and actually can, if you rewrite the text that it generates, it can help you with generating ideas, and then you can refine your ideas. And then Sometimes ChatGPT can generate very offensive and yeah, harmful content or offensive content. So this is another um, yeah, a word of caution when you're using this, and it has uh, it raises ethical concerns about data privacy as well. So, and then ChatGPT has been trained on almost everything, um, and it hasn't been trained on scientific papers exclusively. So while it's a very good general purpose language model, it lacks the specialized knowledge that researchers have. So when you're using AI, here's some things that researchers should do. Um, it supports your research, but does not replace it. So just think of it as a tool. You are still in the driver's seat. So be mindful of the limitations and biases. For example, ChatGPT has only been trained on papers up until 2021. So don't trust it blindly. It may give inaccurate responses. So you can use it for generating ideas, but you should actively review and rewrite in your own voice. So you can take its output and then just rephrase it. And I think a human can always write better than the machine. So whatever text it does generate, you can reword it, and you can have the generated text on one side of your screen, and you can just uh, type different phrases from it. If you like some of the output better than your own writing, but you can make sure you rewrite it in your own voice. You should also preserve academic integrity. Watch out for plagiarism as well. Um, you know, while some of these language programs like PaperPal can help you paraphrase and generate alternate versions of the same text. So this can help you avoid plagiarism. And watch out for sensitive information. Um, you know, there's in medical research, there's always disclosures with the human subjects, and this may not always be preserved using ChatGPT. And also, keep up to date about the use of AI. Read what the publishers are saying about it. Um, there's um, there's disclosures that every researcher should do. If you use ChatGPT in your research, they actually want to see what queries you made in ChatGPT and also the responses. So be prepared to save all the information and upload it as supplementary information for the journal editors and reviewers to review. Okay, so I mentioned the lack of domain specific expertise. So AI lacks this. So it's here's where the humans have the edge. An expert has domain-specific expertise, specialized knowledge in their respective fields, and we can generate insights and guidance and critical evaluation from our research that AI tools may lack. So while the AI may generate coherent text, the expert should read and verify all the information. And you know, while AI can generate ideas, the expert will help to identify the gaps and suggest alternate approaches, and he can get valuable feedback on expertise. So if you're writing your paper, have an expert read your paper, whether it's a journal editor. Editage can help you with that as well. And do not submit to a scientific journal without having at least your co-authors read your paper and help to verify the information. So AI lacks critical thinking, whereas experts can offer critical perspectives on your research. And for example, like a reviewer on your paper can help you think critically about your assumptions, methodologies, and implications of your findings. And also the reviewers can help challenge your ideas encourage you to do a deeper analysis and provide constructive criticism to improve the overall quality and validity of your research. So AI has no validation or credibility, whereas an expert has validation and credibility from their own experience. So feedback from experts will always be better than getting feedback from AI. So here, it's a good idea to seek input on your papers and on your writing and on your research ideas from the academic community, for example, journal editors and reviewers. And then their endorsement of your work can enhance its acceptance and recognition by the scholarly, within the scholarly community, whereas AI cannot do that for you. So, the key takeaways, AI should be considered just to be a tool to help you enhance your research progress. Don't rely on it too heavily for generating the text for your papers, but it can help you generate ideas for your papers and help refine some of the sentences that you're writing. It may help you discover new scientific papers that you may have overlooked in your literature review. Using it as a research writing tool or as a literature review tool, this can help you improve the quality and then the speed of your research. So it can help you, speed things up. You can write a review paper far faster, far more quickly than you have in the past. And then I had mentioned that there was 6 different categories that AI can be used in. So each of them is specialized to these different parts of research, including the writing, literature search, note-taking, productivity, paper reading, and then the presentations. Another key takeaway is PaperPal. You should check this out as a tool for paper writing. I introduced several features, how effective it can be, and as a language and grammar checker, and this has been trained on scientific papers. So I've seen it take very poorly written text, very wordy text, and condense it into very nice, coherent, concise scientific writing. But researchers should always verify the output, make sure it's still accurate. Sometimes I see inaccuracies when it's being used to paraphrase sentences. So you should always read and verify the text that has been generated. So be very cautious about using ChatGPT. There's a lot of work being done on it to help enhance scientific writing, but it's not there yet. Thankfully, Editage offers their own AI tools and even literature search tools that far outperform ChatGPT. And finally, ChatGPT cannot replace experts. Therefore, it's always best to take an expert's opinion when it's required. Thank you very much for your attention. I really just touched as the tip of the iceberg on the different AI tools that are available. I've only been able to get into PaperPal in any fine detail, but I urge you to check these tools out, especially the literature review and then PaperPal. And also you can check out Mind the Graph as well, to help generate graphics for not only for your papers, but also for your presentations at conferences. So thank you for your attention. I'll be happy to take any questions you have. Okay, first question is for educators and students that are new to AI tools, what are the best practices for getting started? Well, I would download the some of the free AI tools that I had shown you, PaperPal, R Discovery, ChatGPT. I think 3.5 is the latest version. They start asking for money when you download Chat GPT 4.0. That's the one that has the image generator as well. So yeah, download them, install if there's an add-in on Microsoft Word, um, you can start playing around with these tools on Microsoft Word. Some of them you can just copy and paste text as your queries online. You can use the online version, for example, PaperPal. You can take an excerpt from your scientific paper that you want to improve, and then copy and paste it into the PaperPal online. If you don't want to download the add-in on Microsoft Word, so you can start just experimenting with these tools. And I think after a couple tries, you should reserve a couple days to test the tools out. And you can, you know, my advice would be to see what the tools are about, and also to find what the limitations are. I've used a paraphraser tool, and sometimes it generates really great text, and sometimes sometimes it's subject specific. So maybe the language model has been trained on enough papers in a specific field. So yeah, find what the limitations are as well, and that would be my advice to you. And second question is, can AI tools be customized to meet the specific needs of individual students or educational institutions? These are now being customized as we speak. So yeah, Editage has some really good tools, like the literature review tool, um, our discovery, and these are integrated, and they're trained on scientific papers. So these already exist, and there's more and more being developed. There's so much research on AI now, and some of them will be field specific. Some of them are just science specific or social science specific. They start out very general, like ChatGPT is not trained on scientific papers exclusively, but there are more and more tools. So I would just keep up to date on what is being offered. And I think a lot of the tools now are really geared towards science, but it's so rapidly expanding. So just keep up to date. I would check actually monthly if there are any updates in your specific field. Okay, do we have any more questions? I'll give one more. How can AI tools facilitate better collaboration among students and between students and educators? Um, I think a lot of educators now are, we know that AI is here to stay. Um, so I think a lot of educators are afraid that students will solely rely on ChatGPT, for their writing, and some. It, you have to be careful with it. So I think a lot of educators now are integrating lesson plans. Not only they're creating lesson plans with the help of ChatGPT, but they want students to actually learn these tools as well and know their limitations of them. So I think just honest use of it, just use it intentionally, and they can be built into assignments and help students to understand how powerful these tools are, but also its limitations. So yes, yeah, they are currently being used a lot. Next question: do you have any recommendations for apps that can detect plagiarism in articles generated by AI? Okay, as a general editor, you know, there there are ways to detect the use of AI in scientific papers, especially generative AI. There's sometimes some key phrases. Sometimes authors will forget to delete as a language language model. They forget to delete these words. There's also been some keywords in papers that are becoming overused by AI. So they're looking at the use of some certain keywords, and the overuse of it can be considered, oh, this person used generative AI to generate a lot of their text. So yeah, there's AI text detectors that are being developed now. Some editors have argued, oh, plagiarism is undetectable now with this paraphrasing tool, but no, they're wrong. It's the, the AI use can be detected almost just like iAuthenticate can detect plagiarism or text overlap. So I would be a bit careful in its use. So the technology is catching up. And have I used AI tools in my academic career to enhance success? I would say yes, I have used AI tools, mostly for literature search. Um, I've played around with the Scopus, and there's a version of it where it can help condense the literature for you. Um, and I've used Grammarly a lot as well, and these aren't, you know, they're not considered to be generative AI tools, and they get the stamp of approval and the green light from all the academic journals, editors and reviewers. So I haven't done any machine learning yet, but as a journal editor, I've seen a lot of research enhanced with machine learning. Okay, do we have any more questions? I think we came up on the end of our hour. If you look on the right side of your screen, there's a feedback form. We'd love to hear from you and about future topics for webinars. And I wish everyone the best of success, best of luck in your scientific endeavors. I hope you found today's session useful. Basically, I would like to say we're opening up this huge box of tools, and I would encourage just to stay on top of everything and also enhance your productivity. Familiarize yourself with a lot of the tools that have become available. Most of them now, the ones I've introduced to you, are geared towards scientists. So, ChatGPT is used by non-scientists and scientists alike. Be careful about relying on that too heavily, and I would explore the tools that have been specifically designed for researchers. So thank you very much again, and I wish everyone the best of luck on your academic journeys. So thank you. And don't forget to click on the feedback